Alright guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Cody Groom. Today we have the E92 M3 and we're going to go on a little drive. Now, I haven't driven this car in about 3 weeks. If you guys saw, I put the racing seat in the other day, and I also decided to put the OEM steering wheel back on. I'm not running the racing seat right now because the problem is, unless you have an adapter, you can't run the OEM seat belts. I don't have a harness or a harness bar or a cage in this car, so pretty much at this point we're going to say, you know, I got to drive it with stock seats. I do already like the OEM wheel, and I'll talk a little bit more about it as I'm driving. But let's start this thing up, go for a drive through the canyons, and you know, enjoy this ride. Now, I do apologize. I know this camera up here, I don't know if you guys can see it on that camera, but this camera is a little bit high. I don't have something to mount it, and I also don't want to wear a head mount right now, and so we're gonna do it like that. But anyway, let's get going. Every single time. At startup, whoo, it gets you feeling some type of way. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Well, I got a lot more to say, but you know. So I have been driving the Supra a lot, and I haven't really been driving this car. Basically, this car needed new rear tires, and if you're trying to get Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's in a 275 3019 like I am, you virtually can't find them anywhere. Like actually most sizes of PS4s are just hard to find. They're hard to come by. So I've just been dying to drive this car and I couldn't. And unfortunately the tires were actually cording in the back, or corded. And so it kind of led to this thing of like, there's no way to drive on the road like that. Like I could literally hear it flapping. But basically, I've been driving the Supra a lot, and the Supra is an amazing car despite all the hate it gets. I think the Supra gets a crazy amount of hate for how good of a car it is. It definitely is a BMW and has its BMW parts in it. Everything's BMW, but I gotta say, it doesn't feel like a BMW, and I'll explain why. The interior, the driving feel, it's different. It's not what you'd expect from a BMW. It's a BMW engine, BMW parts, but when you think about how something is made, right? Like if I gave you, say, t-shirts, for example. T-shirts are a great example. You can have a t-shirt that's made by someone, and they want it to fit a certain way, and they want it to feel a certain way, and all this stuff. And when you get down to it, another brand says the exact same thing, but has a totally different feel. Maybe they use the same initial t-shirts, but the cut is different. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. So with the Supra, I notice a lot that it's a very fast car, and it feels good, but it lacks the driving feel that I feel like a lot of M cars have. We'll get a little traffic stop up here. I never get tired of those downshifts either. But so yeah, like the Supra lacks that driving feel. The interior doesn't feel, it still feels BMW-esque, but it has Toyota touches. And I think a lot of the decision that Toyota made for that car, I don't really agree with. So it's one of those things that when I get in this car, I just notice the layout of the cockpit, like how it feels, you know, how certain things react. And almost immediately after getting in this car, I was like, damn, this is a good car. It just, there's something about it. And I'm not even, I feel like everyone hypes this car up for rightfully so, but like there's just a different vibe. That's all I gotta say. When you get in here, it feels like you're ready to drive. Now the seat is a little high, and I talked about that in my last video. It's a little high up for what you'd expect, and I have to say that takes away from it a little bit because I'm not that tall and I feel like I'm up high. And so I can only imagine someone that's actually, you know, 6 foot, 6'2", like sitting in this car, they're gonna be pretty uncomfortable. But just like, I think BMW nailed a lot on the head about this car, and it's just like, it's so refined on so many elements. Like the OEM steering wheel, this is probably one of the best steering wheels I've ever seen on an OEM car. It feels good. Like some people might complain it's too thick, but I feel like it's the perfect thickness that I'm not like trying to grasp my hand around it, and it's still, you know, it is thin enough, or it's still thick enough that it doesn't feel like I'm holding. Now, I gotta say though too, after driving a Super, and I'm kind of comparing that to a modern BMW, is that it feels kind of slow. Now, hold on, because it's not, I don't think the car is slow. In a straight line, it feels slow. Now, through the corners and how I feel like I can push the car, it still feels very fast and like more capable than I am, is how I feel driving this car. But I got used to how the Super accelerates. So, like, for example, it's a fast acceleration, but it's not a like knock you back in your seat fast. It's kind of like a, damn, this car's quick. Like I've had this car for 3 years now, and there's a lot of things that I've wanted to do to it that I've done, and something even as simple as going back to the OEM wheel, it just makes me feel, it's just like I have a different love for this car now. Like I can just, when I first got it, I was like, oh, I just want to modify it, I want to do all this stuff. Now that I have it and I've had it for 3 years, I'm kind of like, man, this is just so good that I just want to enjoy it. Like, I want to make sure the mods don't take away from it. I do love cosmetic mods, but I want to make sure the mods, like the steering wheel, doesn't take away from it. I would love to get some different suspension on here, have something more. This is just the KW height adjustable spring kit, and it's good. It's good, but it's not amazing. Like, I can definitely feel there's some body roll in the car, and so I would like to have some, either like some Öhlins in here or some KW V3s, maybe Club Sports. I don't know. Club Sports might be a little, I guess Öhlins and Club Sports are the same price. But I guess I would like to do some suspension to this, get some, SPL arms, and kind of go a little bit crazy on that side. Keep all the OEM parts so that if at any point I want to go back, I can. That was kind of been my mindset a lot with this car, is that I've wanted to have a car that didn't want to ruin its integrity of this car. Because I know this car is going to be a future classic if it's not already. I mean, this car isn't that old, but they're becoming harder and harder to come by because people have thrashed them, people have cut them up, people have tracked them to the point where they're no longer usable type of deal, like they're fully gutted and all that, and they'll never be that same factory feel. But I think where I'm at is I want to just enjoy this car, and I want to have a good time with it. And oh man, I miss this thing. I did. I got in here today and I was like, man, the Super is great, but this E92 M3, man, I want another one. Like, I want a E90 6-speed so that I have an E92 in dual clutch, and then I have an E90 in 6-speed, and I just feel like that'd be the best combo. Now, mine does have the sunroof, and I think, you can shine down on that. There's no way that a sunroof is better. Obviously, you have weight on top, and a carbon fiber roof, you wouldn't have weight on top, or you'd have less weight on top, I should say. But I don't mind it. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's not something that I wouldn't get this car over, because there's so many other amazing parts about this car. The spec I have, it's a 2011 E92, so coupe, and space gray. I forgot what color it was for a second because it's been wrapped in Nosatec red for a while, but this is space gray. And the space gray to me is like it's a beautiful color. It's not something that's like pops off and is crazy vibrant in any way, shape, or form, but I also feel like it's such a classy and clean look for the car. When I unwrap it, get this paint all polished, and just have this car clean, I look at it and I'm just like, man, it's just a clean color. I don't know that there's many other colors that I'd want this car in. Maybe Melbourne red, or maybe Laguna Seca blue. All the other colors, the blacks are cool, but I'm not really I'm not really a black car fan. So they get dirty so easy, and they look amazing when they're clean, but you just see every little thing. I gotta say, also, this car has spoiled me with the red line. I get in other cars now that don't have this high revving engine, and I feel weird downshifting because I'm so used to downshifting and being at 5,000. Oh, it's a good little run. Handle's so good, goes right where you need it, and man, wish they made more cars like this nowadays. I feel like that's the biggest thing nowadays. I've watched multiple channels, and I do agree with them. There's not a lot of cars that I want nowadays. I mean, the G80, I'm starting to mind it less and less. The grill for me wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, I shouldn't say what it wasn't that big. See what I did there? No, but it was a huge grill, and it still is. But I think I've seen a lot of people coming out talking about how the car drives, and that is the most important part of an M car, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, the E36, the E30, the E92, E46, all of them are beautiful. And maybe you could say the G80, the front is a little less beautiful, but at the same time, it's like, I'm eager to see how it drives. I'm eager to see what it's like to enjoy, what it's like for that car to be, you know, driven on a track, how it competes with the rest of the M cars. Because I've seen a lot of people at this point in time saying that, you know, that car is what the M division was about. And what I mean by that is how it drives. Seeing some lap times at Button Willow. And so far, I'm pretty impressed with it. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, you can get mad at BMW for the big grills. But they did make it in a 6-speed still. So you can give them that. And that's something not a lot of car manufacturers are doing with their cars. 6-speed and rear-wheel drive. I mean, be thankful that BMW did at least that. Oh, it's always so nice to have new tires. But I think, yeah, going back to modern cars, I think it's hard because, I don't know, leave your guys a comment below. I'd love to know what you guys think about modern cars and, you know, how everything's going. I mean, obviously we're going towards electric cars, but I want to see where the performance aspect of electric cars go. I know Tesla, like I have a Tesla Model Y, and I know Teslas are great, but they still are missing something in terms of driving for me. And maybe that's through aftermarket parts or you know, different things, suspension mods and all that make it a better driving car. Obviously, we're never going to get the sound back that we have. Oh, wait, hold on. We are. Someone actually makes an exhaust for the Tesla Model 3. Bear with me. It is literally an exhaust that you can change to different cars and different supercars, stuff like that, and change the sound coming out. How much of a trip would it be if you saw a Model 3 going down the road and you heard like the noise behind it, the exhaust sounds? I don't know. Anyway, that's just crazy to me. But I wonder where the cars are going today, because we're like 2011, you know, during the time of the E92 M3 was just a killer year for cars. Like we were starting to dive in these big V8s, you know, and getting all these crazy sounding cars, and then it went just the total opposite. You know, right now it's all the inline six, twin turbo, or you know, or just single turbo cars, and it's kind of like it's obviously missing something. But we're also, why would they invest in bigger and bigger engines when emissions are getting stricter and electric cars are getting more and more apparent that is the future? I mean, we still got a long time coming, don't get me wrong, before like all the infrastructure and all that's there, but I'd like to give electric cars a chance and see what they end up like. They're not going to sound like this. I got a garbage truck in front of me, so it's an excuse for some downshifts. That's in a second. It's going to first. Oh man, I love it. I do. So I think the question is now, if you haven't bought an E92 M3, I think now's your time. Even if you're trying to get a daily driver, this still makes a decent daily driver. I wouldn't say to go, you know, commute 100 miles every day in it, because you might go through this engine pretty quickly just in terms of miles. But at the same time, they are reliable and they do last. Like I have seen people driving the hell out of their E92 M3s at 130,000 miles. So at the same time, for me, I love cars, and I'm not going to sit here and not put miles on mine. I haven't put a crazy amount on mine. I've only put 18,000 since I bought it, or 19,000. I bought it almost 3 years ago in 2 months. And but I'm not dailying it, so I still actually drive it a lot. It's just not my daily car to drive back and forth to work. I drive it when I want to enjoy the drive. was a quick pull to 100 right there. And like I said, this car is by no means slow. I don't want you guys to take it wrong what I said earlier. It doesn't have that, like, the torque and the like. I love the turbo spool of the Supra, and I love driving a turbo car, but it's at the expense of sound and at the expense of predictability. Like I noticed with the Supra, and this may just be me being naive to turbos, because I've always had naturally aspirated cars, but I noticed the turbos is like, I don't know what it's gonna. I know what to expect. Like if I downshift right now, I'm at 3,000 RPM. If I downshift again and again, I'm at 45 right now. I know what to expect when I hit the gas, and I mean like what to expect full throttle. Sometimes with the Supra, I don't know what to expect when I downshift, if I'm gonna be in the right range for the turbo, like if it's gonna be spooling, if I'm gonna lag. Like it's a weird thing. Versus naturally aspirated is always predictable. You know, you're not worrying about turbo spooling, and so there's obviously that. But you also get, on the other side of it, you get that just instant. I shouldn't say instant because there's turbo lag, but you get a lot more torque all at once. I talked about this in another video, but I'll talk about it again. I'm running a gin tonic tune and a custom Magnaflow exhaust with test pipes. So I only have my secondary cats in, and I'm probably burning through them since I'm running a purple tune. But yeah, I mean, I like it. It's a conservative burble, like you guys can hear this whole time. It's not outrageous. I'll get little pops here and there, but I like that I don't get pops at all the time and they're crazy. Like if I want to go make it pop, basically I go up to 6,000 RPM, and that'll pop. But even that, you can see, it's not that excessive, and to be honest, I hate excessive burble, so I think it's almost like have light burble in this car, or no burble at all. The burble is fun to me. It's kind of like a party trick, or like just something for my own enjoyment. You can hear right there. Yeah, there's like a little pops here and there. It just feels this car feels so much like a race car. That's all I can describe it as. Like you're sitting there at 6,000 RPM just pulling, and you're like, I should be shifting, but like I'm still in the power right now because I'm at 6,000, and so I'm gonna stay here, and it's just so good. Oh man, it just makes, I swear, I'm not acting for you guys. Like I thoroughly enjoy this car, and I really want another one. And it's like, I'm sure any of you guys that own these can relate. You just feel like it's something that you could just keep enjoying. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. There you go. Oh. Getting some tight little turns. See, like we've been in second gear through all these turns. Oh man, that's fun. But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna stop this video. Actually, I'll give you guys a little drive through without me talking, just to end it. If you guys want to see more of these with the E36, the Z4M, the Supra, let me know. Because I would love to do these. These are always fun just to go out, give me an excuse to drive the canyons. Hopefully create something cool for you guys to watch. Yeah, I don't know. That was all the way to 8250 right there. Man, I don't know about you guys, but it bums me out a little bit that we're never gonna have cars like this again. Like it's never gonna be a new car that's like this. Damn. Maybe something will change, but who knows? right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you got something to say, leave me a comment below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.